Welcome to The Real Story. I want to take you through a little wormhole here for a second to an alternate America. Just for a second. This alternate America will look exactly the same as the one we just came from, except in this America, there's no such thing as political correctness. It's crazy. In this crazy America, you'd be allowed to say whatever you want, as long as it's based in fact. Nice, isn't it? It's a dream, I know, but come with me for a second. You see, back in the old America, what I might, say here in a second would probably be considered, inflammatory, maybe even insane. But since we're here in the safety tree, I'm sure everyone will hear me out now before running to write in their liberal blogs. Ready? Here it is. The supposedly evil, greedy oil companies that are making billions of dollars in profits while average Americans struggle to keep their jobs and their homes deserve to have the government step in and give them a round of applause. Oh my gosh, did I just say that out loud? Yes. I know it's a surprise coming from a conservative just shilling for big oil. I hear he hates trees too. I get it. But unlike Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, who attack these companies for political gain because they're such easy targets and want to literally take their profits from them, I have some actual facts for you. I know it's tough for progressives to wrap their head around those things called facts when oil prices are hitting new records every day, but the real story is that most big oil companies are not owned by a few rich bazillionaires sitting around smoking stogies in Houston. They're owned by people like you, average, hardworking Americans, through a little something we capitalists like to call the stock market. About 2 million individual shareholders own about half of all of Exxon's stock. The other half owned by institutions. Yeah, like pension funds for your mom and dad, mutual funds, which are, of course, owned primarily by ordinary Americans. I hate to break it to you, but you might even own some of this evil ExxonMobil in your own 401k without even knowing it. Maybe its profits are helping you put your kids through college. Less than 1% of this company is owned by the rich executives who run the place and who, by the way, have created a company that employs over 82,000 people. That's why it drives me crazy every time I hear some anti-capitalist progressive politician launch into an attack for a company in this country making too much money. Like it's a crime to do that in America.
And here's how we pay for it. Take the tax subsidies away from the oil companies.
It's not going to be easy to change our energy policy. ExxonMobil made $11 billion last quarter. They're not going to want to give up all those profits.
If there's one business in America that's doing really well, you saw ExxonMobil's profits last quarter. $40 billion in profits. They do not need your tax dollars to make those kind of profits.
$40 billion in profits. That's horrible. You go, girl. But maybe Hillary and Barack have forgotten about two important facts. First, first, as of right now, we're still in a country that embraces capitalism. Second, last year Exxon paid out over $7.6 billion in dividends, all of which were taxed, of course, and they also paid tens of billions more in corporate income taxes. All of that money didn't go to buy, massive yachts or private jets for the guys in the 10-gallon hats. It bought food. It paid rent. It helped fund government programs, the kind that they want more of. In fact, since we're still in the safety tree, we are, aren't we? I'd like to throw out a crazy other idea, and that is that we don't fight wars for big oil. We fight wars financed by big oil. Ben Stein is the creator of a new movie, Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed. And I got to tell you, Ben, I saw your editorial in the New York Times, and I thought, Ben Stein, the most hated man in the world, or at least the worst person in the world, for saying that ExxonMobil needs a hug.
Well, it's so obvious. ExxonMobil is us. I mean, when Barack Obama and Senator Obama and Senator Clinton criticize the oil companies, they're criticizing us. The oil companies employ people just like us. They produce oil and gasoline for people just like us. They pay their dividends to people just like us. The oil companies are us. They're not a group of conspirators sitting waiting to shoot the quail in West Texas. They're us. When we get mad at them, we're getting mad at us. And they don't set the price of gasoline. That's set in world markets. It's not set by the oil company.
Does it drive you crazy at all, Ben, that we have somehow or another entered this country where A, it's bad to make profits, and B, the rest of the world is grabbing energy as fast as they can, making sure that they use every possible resource because they know what's coming, and we're sitting here doing nothing about it.
I know, it's just nuts. We are a profit-driven society. That's how we got to be the richest country in the world. That's how we got to be the freest, most open country in the world. The socialist countries are the ones that are closed down and not open to human advancement. The profit-driven countries are open to any kind of human growth, regardless of race, ethnicity, sex, religion, anything. But this oil thing that you just mentioned is very scary. The Chinese are snapping up oil properties all over the world, paying way more than the U.S. oil companies can afford to pay. We should be giving our oil companies a pat on the back and saying, go out there and get us oil. That's what we need. Oil is the miracle fuel of the future. There's nothing out there to replace it. All those alternative energy sources all put together all over the country, less than 1% of energy production. Oil is it. Let's go after it for as long as we can.
The people who are running our country now, and quite frankly running it into the ground, the ones who are against us going after oil, all this global warming bullcrap and everything else, I think it's almost as if they are intentionally trying to destroy us.
Oh,
the rest of the country the rest of the world is not going to do this.
No, we have an intellectual class in this country that is literally suicidal and hell-bent on wrecking America. My friend Phil DeMuth and I are writing a book called How to Ruin America. The movement is coming right out of America's prestige universities. They understand nothing. The more degrees they have, the less they understand. But we've got to get this right about the oil companies. What would we do if the oil companies just one day said, okay, you know what, we give up, we're going out of business, get your oil from Hugo Chavez from now on. I mean, we depend on them. They're us. Let's stop beating up people who are us. Let's stop beating up ourselves.
You know, you said something the other day. Last time you were on, we talked about the economy. And I love you, Ben, and I hope you know that. But you were Mr. Sunshine and Lollipops. This is funny saying this to you. You were Mr. Sunshine and Lollipops on the economy last time you were here. Now, tell me if this is true or not. I've read that you have said that there is no end to the fall of the dollar.
No, there is no end to the fall of the dollar, but that doesn't mean that most Americans won't still be prosperous and happy. There is no end to the fall of the dollar. Every circumstance that could conspire to push down the dollar is at work right now. Low interest rates relative to the Eurozone and to Japan. Low relative to the Eurozone anyway, an incredible trade deficit, an incredible budget deficit. We're flooding the world with dollars. Naturally, if you flood the world with any kind of commodity, the price goes down. So the dollar is just going down, down, down. That means the price of oil and gas and other commodities will go up, up, up. The commodity boom is also being fueled by the idiotic ethanol subsidies, which are just the dumbest idea in the history of the world. And so there is no end to the fall of the dollar, and I don't see any end to the inflation, frankly.
You know what? I have to tell you, I don't see a way out with all of the candidates that we have. We've got John McCain, who's the only one that anybody who's, you know, from the right could even consider voting for, and I'm not thrilled about it. He's going to go into this global warming thing with cap and trade and restrictions and taxes and, you know, giving away our sovereignty and everything else. This is honestly, the global warming thing is going to so destroy us economically on so many other fronts. It's the same kind of system that is being set up again back in the schools that you talk about in your movie Expelled. You can't talk about certain things.
If you bring up at a dinner table the idea that maybe it's sunspots, maybe it's just a cycle, and by the way, why are we having the wettest, coldest winter in many years this winter if we're having global warming? People look at you like you've got two heads. They look at you like you're crazy. But there's so many reputable scientists who don't believe in global warming. Less than 2% of the greenhouse gases that are in the atmosphere are man-made. Yep. And anyway, no matter what we do here in America, the Chinese, the Indians, the Brazilians, the Middle Easterners are going to overwhelm whatever little steps we take here with their pollution.
Ben, I got to run. Thank you very much.
God bless you, Glenn. God bless you.
That's the real story tonight from